Hello and welcome to Chapter 10. This is the first of three chapters that will cover the concept of marketing, give you a good introduction to marketing as it's used to communicate value to our customers. So specifically, in this chapter, we'll take a look at what marketing is and we'll make sure that you understand how marketing is so interconnected to the strategy that we talked about in Chapter 6. We'll talk a little bit about the importance of positioning when we're creating our marketing strategy. And we'll understand a few of the different types of marketing research, as well as how we go about segmenting and targeting customers within a market segment. We'll also take a look at how we find opportunities to produce new products and services and the development and growth of those strategies, and take a look at an awareness of how a marketing team can influence customers and create loyalty to the products that we are providing. So the concept of marketing is the process through which organizations design new products and services, they develop existing products and services, and communicate the value of the products and services to their customers. Why is our product better than the others? What is the benefit of purchasing our product versus a competitor's? So most students think about marketing and it's this glamorous advertising strategy and that sort of thing. But that's only one component in the marketing process. So the whole purpose of marketing is to design, deliver, and communicate value. And when we're talking about value, it means communicating to either our existing customer base or future customers why our products and services meet their needs and why we are better than the competition, why you should buy from us versus the competition. And value to a consumer isn't always tangible. It's not just based on the function that the product provides. But there's many other things that can create value. A lot of that value may be based on intangible benefits, peer acceptance, status, how it makes us feel, perhaps loyalty, pride of ownership, brand loyalty. So the value of a product is not just what the product does, how it meets the need, but how it makes us feel. So think of the last time that you've purchased a product. Maybe you've got a loyalty to a certain brand of shampoo, and that product may provide value to you in terms of that it meets the need, so it cleans your hair, which is the need that you have, but it also provides value because it makes your hair smell flowery, or makes you feel good, or makes your hair feel silky. Maybe it's a brand name that you trust, and you have a bit of an emotional attachment to that brand because you can know you can rely on it. So think about some of the products that you've purchased lately, or that you have a particular affinity to or loyalty to, and what was the value created by that product? Once customers understand the value of the product, both the real value or the perceived value, and they compare that to the cost. And if the value exceeds the cost, it will be a good decision to purchase that product. So consumers look at the value compared to the cost in making purchasing decisions. From a marketing perspective, the value relationship that an organization can create with customers really relates to the overall experience. So it's not just the product itself, but it's the interaction with our organization, perhaps even before and after we purchase the product. So it's the whole customer experience through dealing with our business. So there's two fundamental principles of consumer behavior that we need to understand to highlight the importance of this value-based approach to marketing. First is that customers don't buy products. Customers do not buy products. What they buy is things that provide value, things that solve solutions to the problems, or provide solutions to satisfy a need that they have. So consumers don't buy products per se, they buy value, or they buy the benefits of the product or service. Second fundamental principle is that customers will not pay more for their product if they can get a similar product for less. So this is the whole concept of setting ourselves apart to ensure that the perceived value from our product is greater than the cost, and the value that we create is better or higher than our competitors. So the better we are as an organization to deliver customers solutions that provide a higher level of value to our customer, whether that be higher quality, uniqueness, importance, convenience, even in purchasing the product, perhaps better after sales service, the greater the value of our products and services becomes to these customers. And so the perceived difference in value is what really differentiate our products and services from our competitors, and will build brand loyalty, which encourages customers to do repeat business with us. And that's the whole goal of the concept of marketing. And marketing has changed over time as society has grown and as the needs of consumers have grown. During the production era, which is really up to the early 1900s, there was a huge amount of demand for our products. And so there wasn't a huge emphasis on marketing per se. The emphasis was on producing products, because if you could produce it, consumers would buy it. So the philosophy really was to produce as much as possible without focusing on the value or why our product was better than the other, because there was such a high level of demand as we entered into the industrial age, the production era. However, as competition started to increase, we saw some mass production techniques being introduced in the 1920s to the 1950s, and hence we were satisfying increasing the supply of goods and services to meet those demands. So now we needed to really focus on selling our products. So the emphasis was on advertising, publicity, why consumers should buy our products versus the competitors in what we call the selling area or the sales area. So a lot of emphasis on selling, advertising, publicity, promotion techniques to get the consumer to buy our product. Again, not a lot of focus on this terminology or creation of value. From there, as competition continued to grow, there was more and more pressure on suppliers to create products and services that met customers' needs. So in the 1950s to the 1990s, we see what is termed as the marketing concept area. And it really had three parts to it. So first of all, the importance of knowing our customer came about. So we needed to understand what the customer wants and then provide it, as opposed to producing a product and then trying to sell it, which we saw in the sales area in the previous slide. We also needed to focus more on customer satisfaction. So there was a lot more emphasis on service orientation, making it easier for the customer to buy our products and after sales service to create customer satisfaction. And of course, there was an emphasis on producing those goods and services or products that would yield the most profit to our organization. So this was a time of fierce competition, and really this is the first time we started to see more emphasis on the consumer rather than just building products and then trying to sell them to consumers. And as we evolved after the 1990s, we enter into more of a customer relationship era. And this is the whole concept of not just understanding our customers, but starting to develop a relationship with the customer. So know the customer well enough to be able to exceed their expectations and keep them coming back. So this, as you know, you've seen a lot of loyalty programs come about. So organizations are trying to understand and develop relationships with their customers to encourage them to keep coming back and build, really emphasized building that loyalty. So as you can see, the concept of marketing really has developed from just producing products in the production area to more of a relationship management area and developing relationships with our customers. It's always important to remember that we must ensure that our marketing strategies are linked to our corporate level strategies. And to be successful, they have to be intertwined. They have to be complementary. We must design those marketing strategies to be complementary to our corporate strategies. For instance, in your Mike's Bikes project, if you are you make the decision to focus on providing superior sales and services to the low end of the market, the youth bike market, and that's going to be your strategy. You must design effective marketing campaigns that's consistent with that strategy. So think about that as you're developing through your Mike's Bikes product. In marketing really is that communication link that links our consumers, our customers, to the organization's products and services. And really that means we need to understand what the 6 R's of marketing are and respond to the 6 core challenges. And we'll take a look at those on the next slide. So to be successful, we really have to link our product strategies to our business level strategies, which will link as well to our corporate level strategies. So in assessing the viability of a product or the success of a product or service offering, there's 6 key areas that marketers must address when developing a marketing strategy. And of course, we need to ensure that that strategy is aligned with our corporate level strategies and our overriding objectives. So the 6 key challenges of marketers, or things that they need to address, are: do we really, first of all, do we really understand our targeted customers' needs and desires? Do we believe that our current product or the products that we are developing represent a viable solution to fulfill those needs or desires? Once we've understood that, can we create a value proposition that positions our product or service as the best solution for our customers? So can we create a competitive advantage to deliver to our customers? If the answer is yes, we must take a look at our distribution capabilities. So is there a viable distribution model? Can we get this product easily to our customers to make it convenient for them? And what does that model look like? We also need to consider whether we're able to deliver this product or service to our customers that will be attractive to customers in terms of a price, in terms of the price. So will they perceive higher value compared to the cost that the consumer must pay? And will it allow us to be profitable? And once we've done that, once we're satisfied that our product or service offering will satisfy those core challenges, then we need to focus on developing a message to the targeted customer that will attract those customers to buy our product and service. So really these 6 core challenges really relate to what we call the 6 R's of marketing. Do we understand the need, and do we have the right need? Can we provide the right solution to our customers? Are we able to respond to our consumers to satisfy that need? Can we create value for the customer? Do we have the right methods and distribution strategies? Do we have the right price? And do we have the right communication message for that targeted market? So those are commonly known as the 6 R's of marketing. From a marketing concept, this concept of positioning is the ability of our organization to develop a unique, credible, sustainable, and valued place in the minds of consumers for the brand's products and services. So think of a product. When you want a coffee, where do you go? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? When you want to buy a new TV, what comes to mind? Where do you go? What brand comes to mind? When you are looking for a vehicle or buying a new vehicle, what product comes to mind? What's the first thing that enters your mind? Those products that entered your mind are well positioned. So those companies have done a good job of positioning their products in your mind. And our goal is to do that for our entire targeted consumer market, so that when they have a need, the first thing that comes to mind is they got to buy it from us. And we can try to develop that brand awareness, that positioning, through doing market research and creating a value proposition for our customers, and continue to build on that loyalty with our consumers. So to create that position in our consumers' minds that we want to be able to do, we must really do 4 things, or focus on 4 things. The first is we have to effectively communicate the solution to our targeted customers. So we need to have a good strategy to be able to communicate the values of our products and services to those customers. To do that, we really have to understand the market of the product or service that we are in, as well as understand the consumers or the customers in that market. And we have to do it better than anybody else 100% of the time, and be able to sustain that. So those are the 4 key areas to focus on when trying to position our products, so that's the first thing that comes to consumers' mind when they have a need for a certain product or service. So to really understand the markets and our customers or potential customers, successful companies realize they can't be all things to all people. Understand the concept that one size really doesn't fit all. And we can do that through the marketing concept of segmentation. And segmentation really is taking a look at our market and then dividing that market into homogeneous groups. So those homogeneous groups are groups of customers that have similar characteristics, perhaps similar needs, similar interests, similar attitudes, similar purchasing behaviors. And once we've segmented the market, then we can select one of those market segments to market our products to, called the target market. So we really need to understand the market and understand the different groups of consumers within that market, or the different market segments. And we can understand the segments and the buying behaviors, etc., of the consumers in a certain market through doing market research. And market research really comes from 2 sources, or 2 types of market research. The first type of market research is what's called primary sources of market research. And those are things that we do or we develop to generate information to understand the customers or the consumers in that particular market. So we might do things like have surveys, focus groups. You've probably had online surveys. When you're viewing a product, you might have been a pop-up asking for some information and that sort of thing. That's primary research, so that the marketing department can understand consumers better. Some companies will do extensive focus groups. A lot of toy companies, for instance, will do a huge amount of primary research. They will develop a prototype for a product, a new toy that's entering the market, and they will bring in young children or toddlers to play with their products, and they will view how they play with them and gain an understanding. They will then interview the parents of those toddlers to understand their perspective and what they perceive as the value of the customer. So that's really what's called primary research. Secondary research or secondary sources of research information is information that's already out there that you're not doing but you're accessing. There's a lot of information from the Conference Board of Canada, Statistics Canada, other marketing surveys that are out there that we can use to better understand the segmentation of the markets. So when we talk about this concept of markets, a market really is a group of potential customers that have a need for our good or services, but they also have to have the means and the authority to purchase our products. So it's important to remember that when defining a market, that they have to have the need plus the means as well as the authority to purchase our products. Generally, there's two broad markets that are often looked at in business. One being the consumer market, and the consumer market is really all those individuals, their households that want those products. They are the end user of our good or service, versus the business-to-business market. And the business market is all those individuals or organizations that want products to use in producing other products. So they're not the final user. So they will use our good or service in the production of other goods and services that they will market to those customers, often known as industrial goods or industrial services and that sort of thing. So it's important to remember that the buyer's reason for buying is what determines whether the product is considered a consumer product or a B2B or business-to-business product. So let's take a little bit more of a look at the consumer market. Consumer market is huge. There's 6 billion customers worldwide in the consumer market. So it's very large compared to the B2B market, which is smaller because there's less businesses that will buy goods and services. So it's a huge market. And we really need to further understand the consumer market through doing segmentation. And market segmentation is dividing that total market, and here we're talking about the consumer market, into several groups where members have similar characteristics. So we're looking for homogeneous groups within those markets. And we might segment different ways or a combination of ways. For instance, we might do geographic segmentation, and that's where we divide the market geographically. So we might define the consumer market as being a North American market, an Asian market, perhaps a market in India, or is a way of segmenting the market geographically. Ford has a market strategy where they segment a little bit by geographic segment. So their Ford trucks are really marketed to Mid and Central North America. Another common way to segment the market is through a demographic variable. So a demographic variable might be age of consumers, seniors or Gen Y customers. Perhaps we might segment by income level or education level. So they're a demographic variable of the market. Another way to segment the market is psychographic segmentation. And psychographic segmentation means dividing the market according to some sort of interest or personality or lifestyle or perhaps opinion change. So might be based on trends. It might be based on certain lifestyle options in when taking a look at describing a psychographic market. And a behavioral segmentation might mean focusing on certain behaviors, how they buy, how often they buy. Are they large buyers versus small buyers? So are they high frequent users? So some sort of behavioral characteristics. Important to remember that when designing a market segment to target, that it should be sizable. It should be have a large number of potential customers in that market. It must be reachable, and it must be profitable to be successful. Sometimes companies will focus on smaller markets. Niche marketing is the concept of finding a very small but a profitable market segment and really design products or services that fit their specific needs. When I think of niche marketing, I think of some of the stores in Winnipeg, for instance, like Mondragon bookstore and coffee shop, really focuses on a niche market, a very specific, smaller segment of the market, and it looks to satisfy that market segment. One-on-one marketing is really designing individual products and services for an individual customer. So there might be a large customer, one specific customer that we might want to market, and we will design unique products and services specifically for that individual customer. So the business-to-business market includes manufacturers, intermediaries such as retailers, it could be institutions, the government is also part of the B2B market. And it's larger in terms of dollar volumes than the consumer market because the items sold are often sold and resold several times in the B2B process before they're sold to the final consumer. The B2B market differs from the consumer market in several different ways that we need to understand. First of all, the number of customers in the B2B market is a lot smaller compared to the consumer market, but the size of the business customers is relatively large. So the volume of transactions we might do with somebody in the B2B market would be larger than the consumer market. Often B2B markets tend to be geographically concentrated into certain areas. In Canada, we have, certain areas of Canada that are have a lot of manufacturers and intermediaries and retailers. And if you even look at Winnipeg, there are certain pockets or geographic parts of Winnipeg that there are a lot of businesses located in. Business buyers have a different purchasing process, or the purchasing decisions tend to be a lot more rational as opposed to emotional purchasing decisions in the consumer market. And most B2B sales tend to be direct. We're dealing directly with that business. And there's a lot more emphasis on personal selling, that one-on-one selling, in the B2B market, as opposed to mass selling or mass communication of messages in the consumer market. So important to understand the differences between the consumer market and the B2B market. And the next slide will highlight some of those differences. So again, here's some of the differences between the B2B market and the consumer market. So differences in the structure of the market, the size, and the volume of purchases in those markets. So understand the differences from a market structure perspective, understand the differences between the B2B and the consumer market in terms of the type of products that they are looking for, as well as the purchasing decisions and the procedures that they go through to actually buy a product. B2B market, a lot more formal, perhaps takes longer, and very rational type of purchasing decision versus the consumer market, where there's a lot more emotional purchasing decisions involved, and a lot of personal judgment and that sort of thing. So take a look at and understand the differences between the B2B and the consumer markets. So once we've completed our market research and we've understood what the need is of consumers, our market segmentation can help us understand the level of need, and the concept of target marketing is the process where organizations determine which market segments they will focus on. They will target their marketing efforts to. Who are the most likely to purchase the product, and who has the capacity to be able to do that. So once we have defined a target market, now we can start developing a value proposition for that particular target market. So this is the marketing process, and this is kind of our journey so far. From a marketing strategy, we must take a look at what opportunities exist, and that's often done through the marketing research that we talked about. Once we understand what opportunities exist, then we can take a look at segmenting the market to understand what opportunities we could pursue. And once we've segmented the markets, we can define a target market, and that really describes which opportunities we will choose to focus on and which consumer base we will focus on. The next step is really creating the value proposition for that particular target market. The final two steps in the marketing process, where we're developing a marketing mix and communicating the message to the consumers, really will be the focus of Chapter 11. So this is really the fundamental marketing process, starting from marketing research, and you'll see that developing the actual strategy to communicate our message is really the final step in the marketing process. So as we saw on the previous slides, understanding the needs of a customer is important, and this really starts off the marketing process and understanding what opportunities do exist. I want to introduce you to a model, and we'll talk about this in the next slide. It's called the Ansoff model, or the Ansoff matrix, and it really helps you to analyze 4 areas of market opportunity. So there's 4 primary areas, and when looking at potential markets, we'll talk about market penetration opportunities, new products and service opportunities, market development opportunities, and diversification opportunities. So we'll take a look at the Ansoff model on the next slide. So the Ansoff matrix assists us in analyzing the different market opportunities that might exist. And there's really 4 primary market and product opportunities in the Ansoff model. And that will depend whether they're existing products or new products, as well as are we looking at our existing customer base or developing new customer base or new customers. So let's take a look at the market penetration strategy. If we have a market penetration strategy, really what we're focusing on is growing sales to existing customers with our existing products. So getting customers to buy more often, or increase the amount they spend when they deal with you, or get a greater share of the market, more business from particular customers. So there we're focusing on existing products with our existing customer base, but expanding the relationship with those customers. From there, we might take a look at what's called a market development strategy. So that's where we're growing our sales by offering existing products or perhaps variations of our products to new customers. For instance, a lot of products like WD-40 is using their existing product and trying to develop new customers, by advertising or marketing that there's thousands of uses. Cheerios, is finding more healthy, conscious products, or changing their product to be able to expand to those customers that are looking for healthy food alternatives. So it's really taking existing products and perhaps modifying those products a little bit to find new customers. It's important when doing this that we don't want to cannibalize our existing sales. Because we're offering a newer version of a product, we might cause our existing customers to desert us because we've changed the product. So we must be careful when modifying or changing the message of our product to attract new customers. The third and a little bit more risky marketing strategy is through product development to increase our sales. And we're talking about product development strategy is when we are offering new products to our existing customer base. For instance, Walmart, when they expanded into providing groceries besides their household items, is really an example of product development. When looking at a product development strategy, we're creating new products for our existing markets, our existing customer base. And the riskiest strategy is diversification. And so diversification means we're both developing or looking at new products or designing new products and selling them to new customers. Larger amounts of risk in a market diversification strategy, because we both got new products as well as new customers. So the level of risk and hopefully expected return increases from existing markets to new markets to a product development strategy to a diversification strategy. But these are really four product and opportunity matrix in developing needs or analyzing needs in the Ansoff matrix. So as I've said, a critical aspect of marketing is identifying the need that exists in the market and making sure that we can satisfy that need. But equally important is the ability to understand how consumers make purchasing decisions. And when making a decision to buy, customers in the consumer market really go through a four-phase process. The first step in the process is they consider the options and alternatives. Once they've identified a need, they need to consider the additional alternative or the various alternatives that exist to satisfy that need. They will then do some sort of evaluation of those different alternatives. Once they've done that, they will make the decision to buy. And then what happens is there will be some sort of post-purchase evaluation. So think of the last time you bought a product. I've identified a need, I'm thirsty. So I'm considering my options. Do I want a cup of coffee or do I want a soft drink to satisfy that need? So those are the first step is identifying the need. What are the options? Uh, Sec is to evaluate those options. I've had 3 cups of coffee already today. It's hot outside. I prefer something cold to drink. I like Pepsi. So I make the purchasing decision to buy a Pepsi. I go to the store and I purchase that Pepsi, which is step 3, and then I do some sort of evaluation. That tasted so good um, um, in that decision process. Or maybe I should have bought the coffee. So I know a simple example, but consumers go through that, and the they will the length of time to go through that product will depend on whether it's a repeat purchase, whether I've tried a Pepsi before, or whether it's something new that I haven't tried before. It might take longer to convince me to buy that particular product. The length of time will also depend on the type of product that I'm buying. For instance, the cycle time to make a decision to buy something to drink might be a lot shorter than if I'm looking at buying a new car or a new house. Something else to think about from a marketing strategy or in understanding consumer buying behavior is this post-purchase influence, and this is the evaluation of the decision. After all, you may have heard the concept of cognitive dissonance or buyer's remorse, particularly when you perhaps bought a car, for example, and you've made the purchasing decision, you've purchased the car. It's that feeling that you get about self-doubt. Did I make the right decision? Can I really afford this? So it's important to understand that that's part of the marketing purchasing decisions that consumers go through. And It may affect our marketing strategies. For instance, a lot of car dealers will often, recognizing the cognitive dissonance, they will change their strategies to allow for returns of the item, or a 30-day no questions asked return policy and that sort of thing, to try and ease the cognitive dissonance or that buyer's remorse that consumers have. So important to understand that in the development of your marketing strategy. So when consumers go through that purchasing decision, it's important. Good marketers are at the top of the list when customers are going through that buying process. So when they're initially considering their options, for instance, to be at the top of the list, perhaps when you're thinking of buying that coffee, maybe Tim Hortons or Starbucks is at the top of the list when making that purchasing decision. So if not at the top of the list, as a marketer, we want to interrupt the customer's normal purchasing decisions by creating an awareness of our product and why they might consider purchasing our product versus the competitor that might be at the top of the list. So if we were Coke, and understanding that Pepsi perhaps is at the customer's top of mind, why they should consider purchasing a Coke. So creating awareness of it and creating a value for our product. And good marketing strategies will reinforce and support the customer after buying to hopefully develop that loyalty and commitment. So the next time they will automatically buy from us, we'll be at the top of the list when a consumer identifies a need the next time. So that's the whole concept of developing loyalty, is getting to the top of the list. What's the first thing that comes to a consumer's mind? Developing a strong position so that consumers will come back and buy from us. So marketing really, is doesn't really end with the point of purchase. There's a lot of emphasis placed on that post-purchase period, which is where the true customer loyalty and commitment to our products and services is developed. So we want to be at the top of the customer's list. If we're not at the customer's list, we want to get into the customer's mind and create value and communicate the value of our product. So that they will consider us in their purchasing decisions. And then we want to ensure that we support customers to develop that loyalty and that they will come back to buying our product without considering other options. So we're at the top of mind when it comes to purchasing the product the next time a need is identified. So we can try, if we're not at the top of the customer's list, we can try to interrupt the customer's normal purchasing power from buying that product that is at the top of the customer's mind to influence their purchasing decision. So let's take a look at something that's called the marketer's toolbox, which are tools to help influence customers in buying a product or interrupting their normal purchasing decisions. So if we're not at the top of the customer's list when they identify a need, as we said, we want to influence the customer into buying our product. So we want to interrupt their normal purchasing decision. And we might do that through different strategies, through company-driven marketing strategies, consumer-driven marketing strategies, as well as channel support. So company-driven marketing strategies or techniques would include things like advertisements or sales promotions that we see at when we go shopping at Superstore or Walmart. They may have some samples and that sort of thing for certain grocery items. Through publicity, which is a free form of advertising, through local media and newspapers, point of purchase displays, perhaps having dedicated salespersons trying to communicate the value of our products to individual customers. So these are all company-driven marketing techniques or strategies versus consumer-driven marketing strategies. So that might be product reviews. So the next time that you are reviewing a product that you've purchased on the internet or a website, you are participating in a consumer-driven marketing technique. Hopefully that will encourage other potential customers to buy our product. Perhaps it's peer recommendations. A friend recommends the certain product. Or websites or social media websites. These are all consumer-driven marketing techniques. So things that consumers do that hopefully will interrupt another consumer's normal buying pattern. The third type of strategy or technique is channel support. And channel support is perhaps providing some incentives to channel members, perhaps retailers, perhaps wholesalers, dealers, to encourage them to promote our products for us. That might include offering incentives to dealers to sell our product versus a competitor's product. It might be through developing exclusive arrangements with distributors, training for channel members so that they understand the value that our product will create, providing discounts, promotions to those channel members, to have our intermediaries or our channel members to encourage consumers to purchase our product versus a competitor's product. So as we said, the role of marketing is really to communicate the value proposition for our products and services to consumers so that they understand that it's the best solution to meet their needs. And it really goes beyond the functionality of the product, and really focusing on creating our own competitive advantage. So why they should buy from us, why the value of purchasing our products or services are better or superior than the needs or than what can be offered by our competitors, and provides higher value compared to the price that they're paying. So that means that marketers really have to have a good understanding of who our customers are, why they buy, how they buy, the purchasing decisions that they make when considering purchasing a product. And we really need to take a look at different strategies in influencing our customers or potential customers to buy our goods and services. So take a look at making sure that you understand each of these primary learning objectives from this chapter when you're reviewing for your test. So our next chapter will take a little bit more of a look at the marketing process and the key elements of the marketing mix.